Hey team, Master Schiele here. Today we're going to be focusing on how to get you to do your best in a tournament, specifically the form division. In a martial art tournament, there's usually a few divisions that we have. We have the form division, Hyung or Kata division, also known as. In these divisions, these are really based off of the power, the knowledge, the way you execute the form, and the spirit behind that. Once everyone's really at the same page, you need to do what you can to really stand out from the crowd. So in this video, that's what we're going to be focusing on. Please, if you have not yet, do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, all that great stuff. It's going to keep me sending this information to you. Let's get into it. So when you're looking at a form, it's three places in the form that really matter. You have the beginning, you have the middle, which is really the meat of everything, and then you have the end. We got to maximize each parts of these to really make sure, again, we're standing out from the crowd and making sure that we're placing in higher numbers. So the first thing is your introduction, how you intro yourself, and really the way you come out and present. So let me show you a good example of that. When I'm standing back, my name is called. I'm back on the mats and I'm kind of waiting for it. The judge will call my name. I want to make sure I don't just rush up there. I'm going to take my time, I'm going to keep my cool, and I'm going to really just enjoy the moment and live in that moment. Just so you know, time does slow down when you're doing this, okay? So you just got to really learn how to be comfortable with this. So I stand up. Yes, sir. I present my form. So I'll say, judges, my name is, and I'll do my entire presentation. What is important is you don't have one judge in a normal tournament. You're going to have 3 judges for the most part, and most of the martial art tournaments that you'll see. It's important to really acknowledge all of those judges. So look at every single judge as you're speaking. Don't just look at the center judge, okay? Take your time, really perform yourself. Great presentation really makes a big difference right there, okay? So what happens is slow it down, great presentation. After you finish your presentation, you bow, you take a few steps back, breathe, and now you're going to get ready to actually do your form. Again, this intro part is so important because as you're doing the introduction, you want to make sure you're grabbing the judge's attention. Depending on the hour of the day, these judges might have been really judging for hours and hours and hours, so you have to do your best to stand out from the crowd and show, hey, you came here for business and you came here to win, all right? So that's the first thing. That's kind of what's going in my head when I'm doing that competition. The second thing is, this is part of the introduction. Your first move in the form has to be dynamic. It's got to really catch the judge's attention. If you just kind of jump in there and do a key up and do a form, and let's say, for example, I went here and I do the first move. Yeah. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to catch me, right? What I like to do is I like to do a 3-second key up. What is it? A 3-second key up. That's going to really wake everyone up, and it's going to show, again, that I came here for business and I came here to win. So watch the difference right here. The first move, I really want to key up. I want to catch the judge's attention. That's why I do that. So that's really the first part of the form, making sure that introduction is there. The second part is making sure you guys have a good pace in your tournament. Make sure that the pace is really going to catch the judges and it doesn't come off as being nervous. Normally when you're out there and you're by yourself, you're going to really rush the form. And you're going to do the form and you're just going to do whatever you can to kind of get through it. In your mind, you're thinking it looks good, but to the judge, it doesn't look good. It's actually not looking good because it looks like you're just trying to rush and get the form over with, which really sometimes we are, right? Because it's a little nerve-wracking when you get out there. So what we need to do is we need to control the timing. What I like to do is I like to do a pause at every move or every big section of moves. So for example, in ITF Taekwondo, we have our chunji, right? So I do my pacing, I breathe, I breathe. I breathe. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to make sure I hold it, I show the move, and I'm not rushing it. So I almost give myself a pause in between each move. Now, if there's a section of moves, all right, maybe there's a section of moves, you do the moves, but then what you do is at the end of that section of moves, that's where you do your pause. It's going to show confidence. It's going to show, again, that you really know what you're doing. And again, confidence is really the key when you're doing your forms, because that's what you're trying to give off the impression of, that, hey, I have full confidence in this form. I know what I'm doing. I look good at it, and I want to show off. And, you know, this is a chance to show off, not in a negative way, but obviously we want to win. And that's kind of how that works. So pace is really important. So good pause in between each moves. That's the middle section of the form, okay? Now the last part is the end. The end is everything. So you got to remember, again, when you're looking at the judges, and I'm not speaking about anyone in particular, but if you look at a judge, for the most part, you got to see, hey, what's going to catch their attention? How are you going to build it? And how are you going to really say, hey, look at me, right? I don't want you to look at these other people. I want you to look at me. I want to stand out in your mind. So at the end of your form, at the end of your pattern, I do like that 3-second key up, all right? But I also really want to make sure those last few moves, break up the timing a little bit and really try to let it stand out. So, for example, if you're doing the last 2 punches in Chun-Ji, all right, so you did your down block, you did punch 1, punch 2. Now, what I would do is really kind of take that time and then give that loud key up, really show that, hold it, and then wait for the judge to call you up. The judge calls you up, yes, sir. You bow. And then, obviously, depending on the tournament, most tournaments, you'll actually walk off, or you might turn around and get judged right on the spot there. So kind of depending how that works for you. So kind of to recap everything, team, the beginning, the middle, and the end are very, very important. The beginning is really the presentation, okay? I also like to use that presentation to just kind of get myself in the zone, right? When you first walk off, you're nervous. Your adrenaline's pumping, your heart rate's going. So really take that time in that presentation. If you make a mistake in your presentation, it's okay to make it in the presentation. It's not okay to make it in the form, the hyung, or the kata. You want to make sure that those are really, really strong. So use that time. Judges, my name is, and you kind of go through that motion where you go, okay, this is me waking up, I'm here, and then you almost go in this tunnel vision thing, and anyone that's actually competed knows exactly what I'm talking about. So that intro, that beginning is really important. The middle, that's the meat of it, and then really the thing that's going to be important about that is the pacing and the timing of it, right? So make sure you're giving a good pace, about a little second pause in between each move or each segment of moves. It's going to show confidence. It's going to show that you really know what you're doing. And the last thing is making sure that you understand that the end is going to catch the attention of everybody. I always say these in my classes. I am a big person on the end of a book, on the end of a movie, on the end of whatever it is. I like a happy ending. That's just me, okay? So for that, if I dedicate 2 hours to watching a movie and the ending's not good, I don't like the movie because I feel like I wasted my time in that movie, right? So make sure that ending is really, really important. It's going to catch the judge's attention. And again, that's the last thing they're going to see from you. So make sure you look good with it. Also, couple key notes. The moment you're walking out there, you are judged every moment of it, okay? So the way you walk, the way you present yourself, I would work on your walk. You know, how you walk, nice and strong, get to the judges. All of that is going to be part of that presentation. So taking your time, it looks like you're a professional as opposed to just kind of running up, going in front of the judges, right? So that's something that you do have to practice. Take the time, practice, and make it happen. Same thing as I'm filming this video right now, maybe you can do the same thing. Film yourself doing the form and then go back and look at it. That's gonna make a big difference. Now, adults, that's a good way to do it. Kids, you might have to have your parents do that for you, right? But what happens is ultimately everything that you do once you're out there makes a big difference. Now, Last keynote I'd like to kind of talk on is making sure we're congratulating other competitors. And I think that really is something that I've always loved about martial art culture. And if you haven't, seen any of my videos on culture and etiquette and things like that, please do check them out. But martial art culture is just a wonderful, wonderful thing, because no matter who you're competing against, you'll have, a lot of people in your division. It's all about the spirit. It's all about the culture. It's all about making sure that we're cheering each other on and really having a great experience. So as you bow, as you walk away, high five your competitors. Congratulate them. Say, hey, when they come off, say, great job. That's really what I've always loved about the martial arts as opposed to other sports, because other sports, there's a different element in it, right? When we're sparring, for example, and you're in a sparring division, you're fighting each other, right? You're fighting each other. You're trying to beat the person. They're trying to beat you. But at the end, you bow, you hug it out. I mean, you're best friends at the end of it. So it's just a bond that you really have. Again, though, it all really, stems from having that proper culture, cheering each other on. I think that makes a big difference, and it's going to really improve your experience altogether. Team, I hope that helped. I hope that's going to really help you take yourself to the next level. Remember, if your hyung, your kata, or your form is not perfect, this is going to help you, but this is really that after you have everything else done. So make sure you're practicing your form and you're getting it down. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.